Okay, so today I'm going to be tier ranking all of the books within the riordanverse. And so the top tier is called Should Be Offered Immortality because if the book is that good, then it should deserve to live forever. It was a good series. I really liked the exploration of... Actually, no. That book was tough. Hey besties, it's Joel, and today I'm going to be ranking all of the riordanverse books that I've read over the past 6 months. I hope you're doing very well and that you're taking care of yourselves. If you've yet to take a drink of water, please do so. You must remain well and hydrated. And if you've yet to check out my Twitter nor my Instagram, I would highly recommend you go and do that as well because I post some extra bookish content that you're not gonna see here. The riordanverse is amazing and stunning, and over the past 6 months I've been reading all 5 of the series that Rick Riordan has published so far. We started off with Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which was just such a great introduction into his writing and really got me excited for the new Disney Plus adaptation. We then moved on to the King Chronicles, which was an amazing introduction into Egyptian mythology, and seeing Sadie and Carter King kind of come into their own as magicians and doing everything, it was so amazing. Then we moved on to the Heroes of Olympus series, which was just really amazing to see intersections of Greek and Roman mythology and see how all of these demigods interact with one another. Then we moved on to Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, which was an amazing series, and Magnus Chase is just such an icon. And then finally last month we moved on to the Trials of Apollo, which basically blew my mind, and I love Apollo as a god so much. He is my godly parent, and so I have to stan him, and he's just amazing, and I'm very much excited to be ranking all the novels of the riordanverse today. But before we get into that, I do have a very quick message from the sponsor of today's video, and so I'll throw it on over to sponsor Joel in order to tell you all about that. This is the first time I'm showing off my new desk setup. I also have my new chair. But before I get too carried away, once again, I'd like to thank Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Book of the Month is a super popular book service for readers located within the US, with their main objective to promote new and exciting authors and help readers discover books that they'll love. Each month, Book of the Month curates a selection of new and early release titles for you to choose from, so you can spend a little less time researching and a little more time devouring the amazing books. Plus, Book of the Month is risk-free, so you can skip any month, any time, and you won't be charged. I had the pleasure of being sent all 5 of Book of the Month's December picks, and so included were A History of Wild Places, following the search for a missing woman last seen going into an isolated forest town with some secrets in this mesmerizing tale. The Holiday Swap, which in true Parent Trap style follows twins who decide to revive their childhood habit and swap places as they feel the need for a reset in their lives. Somebody's Daughter, detailing a moving coming-of-age memoir about the complications of family, providing an ample testament to the resilience of love. Olga Dies Dreaming, following 2 siblings whose journey towards the American dream is halted when their estranged mother is brought back into their lives by Hurricane Maria. And finally, A Flicker in the Dark, which follows Chloe Davis as she wonders if she's really escaped her past when a serial killer emerges with an eerily familiar pattern. I was also sent one of Book of the Month's add-ons, which you can add to any month, and so for this month I got The Anthropocene by John Green, which through a collection of essays, he reviews the faults and the merits in ourselves. And for me personally, I think I'm most excited to read The Holiday Swap purely because I love Parent Trap style stories where like twins switch places. I mean, I kind of like The Princess Switch on Netflix, so I feel like this would kind of give me similar vibes, which I'm very excited about. And so if that sounds great to you and you have a US-based shipping address, then you can use the link in my description and use code JOLLY in order to get your first Book of the Month box for only $5, which is an amazing deal for this holiday season. And it would make a very cool Christmas gift for someone as well. And so yeah, another massive thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video, and now we can get back to tier ranking the riordanverse. Okay, so today I'm going to be tier ranking all of the books within the riordanverse. I have my MacBook at the ready with all of the tiers. We'll go through what I've named the tiers in a second, but I really want to take a moment to kind of thank you all for your support throughout reading the riordanverse so far. It's just been amazing to see all your thoughts, feelings, and reactions in the comments section, and I definitely want to continue doing more like riordanverse videos throughout the next year as well. So if you have any suggestions whatsoever, put them down in the comment section down below. Let us get into it. So I have the tier maker right here, and we have basically 5 tiers that I want to use in order to rank all 21 of the books that we're going to be discussing today. And so the top tier is called Should Be Offered Immortality because if the book is that good, then it should deserve to live forever. Then we go on to Blue Food because Sally and Percy Jackson have this kind of blue food dynamic together, and just the color blue in general, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm wearing blue today, subconsciously actually, like my trousers are like this icy blue as well, like blue gray, and they're high-waisted trousers as well. Like, I don't really wear high-waisted that often. Like, this is my first pair of high-waisted trousers, but I really like them and I'm enjoying them. Anyways, enough of my outfit. We have the middle tier, which is damn good. Like, it's a good book, a good strong book, and I really liked it. Then we have Girl Boss Too Much the Sun, you know, good old Icarus. This book is kind of like one that was good, but it kind of tried too hard and it didn't come across as strong as it should have. And then we have To the Depths of Tartarus, because, you know, if the book is that bad, bye. Just bye. Go into the depths of hell, you know? Goodbye. I don't think anything will end up in the depths of Tartarus, purely because I've basically enjoyed all of these books so far. If you've yet to read the riordanverse, I would highly recommend you go and do that, because it's just such an amazing series to get into. And Percy Jackson and Olympians is a great series to start with if you want to delve into a little bit more fantasy while still being rooted in this kind of realistic world. So yeah, I would highly recommend that. But let's get on to the tier rankings. So the very, very first book, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I enjoyed it. I think in retrospect, from how I've read all of the other books, I wouldn't say it's as good as some of the other books within this, like within the riordanverse. However, it's definitely a good start to the riordanverse as a whole. And so I'd probably say Percy Jackson and the Olympians is damn good. Pretty damn good. Then we move on to the Sea of Monsters, which I wouldn't say it's as strong as the Lightning Thief, and like whilst it does like kind of do some really cool things with like interaction, introducing like Tyson and stuff, it does something but doesn't really do a lot for me. So I think I'm gonna put Sea of Monsters in Girl Boss Too Close to the Sun, because whilst I did love Tyson and the introduction of Tyson, I do think like wasn't as good as the Lightning Thief in my opinion. Okay, let us move on to the Titans Kiss, and immediately that is going into Blue Food, because Nico D'Angelo is introduced into this book, and so it's amazing. Like I feel like the Titans Kiss just really solidifies like the midpoint of the series and is able to ground us in this kind of positioning of what's going to happen next and us being afraid of things, and really introduces this new dynamic with Nico and Bianca as well. The whole thing with Bianca was really like hard hitting. It really makes the seriousness of the threat a lot more apparent, and that's why I really liked the Titans Kiss, because it did something like that. Now moving on to Battle of the Labyrinth, I think I'm going to put it into damn good as well, because it was good. I feel like though it just wasn't as good as the Titans Kiss, was more so a build-up novel. Like yeah, we got to explore the labyrinth and just seeing everything inside of that, and that was pretty cool. However, I feel like it's definitely a setup novel for The Last Olympian, and all of these books I really enjoyed, and I think I rated all of them 4 or 5 stars on Goodreads, and so this tier ranking is basically arbitrary, but if I had to rank them in terms of like how best they are in terms of one another, that's basically how I'd rank them. But yeah, the Battle of the Labyrinth was just a good, strong book overall, and so I'm really like happy with it being damn good. But with The Last Olympian, it should be offered immortality. That book, The Last Olympian was just such a great ending, and I feel like it was really able to capture all of the character arcs and journeys that Piercy, Annabeth, and Grover had started from the very beginning, and really talked about some of the core themes that had been introduced from the very first book. And so it was a really great wrap-up novel, and just seeing everything that happened, like the final battle, kind of seeing the sacrifices that were made, it was amazing. And I think it really solidified the importance of anyone can be a hero, just having the courage to stand up for yourself and what it means to be a demigod within this world. And I really enjoyed it, and I loved it, and I thought it was amazing. I feel like at the end of Percy Jackson Olympians as well, I just completely like solidified my love for the riordanverse, and so The Last Olympian really sold that for me, because it really showed that Rick Riordan can write well, like very well. And so yeah, this is basically so far what I think of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This is kind of how I rank the Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Now we're gonna move on to the Kane Chronicles, which I think I can do all in one, to be honest, because I feel like my ranking towards them are pretty much the same. So I'm gonna put the Red Pyramid, Throne of Fire, and the Serpent Shadow all into damn good, because it was a good series. I really liked the exploration of, actually, no, I'm gonna put the Serpent Shadow into Blue Food. Anyways, the exploration of Egyptian mythology was pretty good. I really enjoyed like kind of Cara and Sadie Kane's sibling relationship and the way that's explored. I enjoyed the threats that were acknowledged throughout the book and just seeing everything that happened through there. However, I feel like it was weaker than the Percy Jackson series, but yeah, I feel like it was a good series. I very much enjoyed it. I think I will reread it, but I don't think I'd reread it for a while, purely because I feel like it's good and I've read it, but it's not one of those ones that I'm immediately like, oh, I need to reread this right away. It's one of my favorites. The only reason I put Serpent Shadow into Blue Food is literally because of like just the way it ends, to be honest, like the way that Cara and Sadie finish off and like what they do with everything at the end. And I don't know, it kind of made me feel really happy about what they chose to do. That is basically how I think about the Kane Chronicles, which was a really easy ranking for me because like this series was just good. I enjoyed it, and it was kind of at like a similar level towards me, but the Serpent Shadow just kind of crept up that little bit more and got over. So yeah, now we are gonna go on to the Heroes of Olympus. The very first book, the lost hero. I am gonna put this into, this is hard. I'm like between two categories. I feel like it's gonna go into blue food purely because it was a similar plot structure to The Lightning Thief. However, I feel like the lost hero did it better, and I feel like this is purely because of Rick Riordan's growth as a writer through writing Percy Jackson and the Olympians. And so the lost hero was really able to deliver a similar narrative but make it 100 times better because of the way he's grown. And I feel like the introduction of Jason Grace within this and just seeing the new perspective was very intriguing and interesting, and just seeing Jason's relationship with Piper and Leo evolve, and it was amazing. Like, I really liked this like kind of introduction to the Heroes of Olympus series, and Piper and Leo and Jason are just amazing characters as well, which is why I will probably also put the Son of Neptune into blue food as well, purely because it's kind of like a part 2 to the lost hero, where we get to see Piercy, Frank and Hazel in this, and just seeing their interaction and kind of their version of the lost hero, if you will. And it was very much similar, and we really got to see a lot more of like the main conflict dynamic being developed within this, and it was amazing. Mark of Athena, right. I know, like, the ending of Mark of Athena literally hurt me a lot. However, I feel like because of that, like, it was right at the end, and the beginning of the novel was good. I really enjoyed that. However, I feel like the ending was very impactful, but it's not enough to be offered immortality. So it's gonna go into blue food as well. I really enjoyed it. I think it was amazing. I feel like the twist or like the cliffhanger at the end pained me. Again, I don't know how people were able to wait a year for that. They didn't wait. They died for a year. But it was amazing. I really enjoyed like the way that we were able to see this kind of internal conflict of Annabeth and then Percy being like, it's something that I want to help you with, but I know you have to do this on your own, and kind of the relationship dynamic through that as well. Like Mark of Athena and also House of Hades were a really good set of novels for Percy and Annabeth's relationship, because it really gave them a test, like a test of their connection, because it just allowed us to kind of see how much they mean to each other, and like we know that they're forever, which is why the House of Hades should be offered immortality, because also along with that, Nico D'Angelo in the House of Hades as well. What an iconic boy, an iconic presence within this series, but also Annabeth and Percy's journey through that. The House of Hades was amazing. House of Hades offered immortality, like wow. Chef's kiss. What an iconic book. Loved it. I just think as well the House of Hades just sells itself super well as like a 4th book, because it really develops further into the blood of Olympus. Rick Riordan does it really well with like the penultimate book of his series. Like he's really able to kind of be like, okay, I'm gonna mix everything together so that it builds up enough for this final conflict. And the blood of Olympus as well, I feel like should also be offered immortality, purely because of just the way it's able to carry these multi-pov narratives, and also that all of these different threads kind of work themselves out, and just seeing like Leo Valdez, Nico D'Angelo, Percy, Annabeth, Jason, Piper, Frank, like all of these threads came together in this book to create this ultimate finale, and it was iconic. It was amazing. I probably put House of Hades before the Blood of Olympus. If I'm gonna reorganize blue food, I think everything's now fine. Everything's now good. But we'll now be moving on to Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. For Magnus Chase and the Sword of Summer, I'm gonna put it into... Okay, thank you, Wikipedia. For Magnus Chase and the Swords of Summer, I'm gonna pop it into damn good. Like, it was a good introduction to the series and really was able to ground us in this thing. Plus, it was kind of like a different type of beginning with the way that it started, and within this book as well, establishing Hotel Valhalla and the Valkyries, and like the main plot was very good. Leading on to the Hammer of Thor, I think I'd probably put that into blue food purely because I enjoyed it a lot more and was really able to deliver higher stakes, and again, set up for the finale. I feel like Magnus and Alex Fierro's, like, I love how I name Alex Fierro and just never Alex, but anyway, I love how Magnus and Alex Fierro's like relationship is developed throughout this, and just seeing their kind of dynamic grow and change and shift. I really enjoyed that. The Ship of the Dead, I'm probably also going to put into blue food purely because of just the way that it ends, and especially what Magnus does as well at the end of his series. Like, I love the endings that Rick Riordan provides. They are just amazing. They make you feel warm inside, but also kind of deliver kind of slightly bittersweet notes as well. It's amazing because he just is able to make us feel satisfied with the ending whilst also making us hungry for more. And so I'm really excited to see if he continues like the Kanes or Magnus Chase further, because it would really be interesting to see this kind of like sequel trilogy. I would just love to like, I write some like Kane Chronicles fan fiction, because I really feel like it does need to be read and hyped a lot more than it actually is. And so if you haven't read the Kane Chronicles, please do so. It's just a good stable stable series, and like maybe it'll pull you out of a reading slump. But we now move on to the last book series in the rankings, and that is the Trials of Apollo, the one that I read last month, so it's very fresh in my mind. So the Hidden Oracle, Blue Food. Immediately Blue Food was iconic, was stunning, was amazing, was able to deliver like Apollo's character very nicely as this kind of like narcissistic god that's like, I'm a god, I can do this. Like, his privilege really comes across in this novel, like the privilege of being a god on Olympus. His privilege is really called into question because he realizes that there's a lot of things that he just didn't realize that like occurred or didn't care about, like his children. The Dark Prophecy, I'm gonna put into damn good. It was a good novel which delivered further into like Meg and Apollo's friendship and seeing the dynamic between them. We also just got to see a development of like the ostrich army. The ostrich army. We just got to continue on with the Oracle narrative, and I just feel like the book was very good in and of that, and just seeing the way that like Apollo and Meg's like growth continues, and also just kind of having to deal with the fact that what Meg did at the end of the first book, it was hard, but it was also really good. But The Burning Maze should be offered immortality. That book was tough. All I'm gonna say is Jason Grace killed me. I cried reading this book. It was hard. It was hard to read because of like, one, the thing that happened, but also two, kind of just like Meg's relationship with Nero. It was hard to read, but in a good way, because it concerned characters that I cared about. I really enjoyed it, and it really showed us how formidable and how powerful the villains are, the Roman emperors are, and really established the severity of the conflict. Like what happened in the Titans' Curse, it should be offered immortality. Maybe they can give that immortality to, you know who. They don't deserve to suffer. Now we get onto the Tyrants Tomb, which I think I'm going to give to Blue Food. It was just such a great penultimate book, and really again established like the final battle. And oh my god, Rhaena in this book was iconic. Rhaena in general, what a queen. What a queen. Like, I feel like she got a lot of growth throughout this, and I feel like she's just amazing. But then we also got to see Frank and Hazel again, which was amazing. We got to see Apollo continuing to grow as a person, Meg kind of coming into her own as this kind of formidable person, and just seeing the growth of these characters throughout the series, iconic. Let's get on to the Tower of Nero, which again should be offered immortality. I loved this book. It's just the way he writes finales. I think like this last finale as well, it did make me cry because of the way that he wrote the final pages of it. It was amazing, and just seeing like, oh god, I'm getting emotional. Just seeing Meg's character growth at the end, and just seeing like Nico and Will, and then deciding to like go to Tartarus. It's hard. Like, it's hard to see what's gonna come next, and I'm very excited for it. Marco Shiro, hello. Yeah, I find that it's going to be amazing, and I'm really excited to see what's going to come from this next. I think the Tower of Nero just really delivered the ending that I needed, and really solidified Apollo's character growth in such a spectacular way. Like, we saw a god become more humanized and just becoming someone that is worthy of the title god, much more than many of the other gods within that. Plus, we also got to root for Hera a little, which was weird for me given the fact of Hera in the Heroes of Olympus. Like, she actually came across better in this. But yeah, besties, that is basically the riordanverse tier ranked. I have just had a lot of fun with like this final order. The only one that didn't make damn good was basically the Sea of Monsters. At least no books went into the Depths of Tartarus, you know, so it was pretty good. So my 5 favorite books from the riordanverse are The Last Olympian, The House of Hades, The Blood of Olympus, The Burning Maze, and The Tower of Nero. So there you go. Those are the ones that should be offered immortality. But yeah, that is basically me tier ranking the riordanverse. I hope you liked the video today. I'll have the link to the tier maker in the description down below, and I want you to go do it yourself and then send it to me on Twitter, tag me in an Instagram story. I really want to see what you rank the riordanverse novels as well. And so yeah, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, be sure to click that subscribe button so that you're notified whenever I upload next. And again, a massive thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. If you have a US-based shipping address, then you can use the link in my description and use code JOLLY in order to get your first Book of the Month box for only $5. And you can find all my social medias in the description down below so that you can follow me on any single platform that you want. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what other tier rankings I do next. I can always do one on the riordanverse characters, however, I am going to need a top tier purely for Sally Jackson. And so yeah, I guess until the next time, bye besties.